For more than 20 years, I've been obsessed with guitars. From playing them, to working on them, to buying and collecting them, I've built quite the collection of awesome custom guitars. Now, I'm turning my passion into a profession by seeking out old, beat-up guitars and giving them new life, all while trying to make a profit. I'll be searching everywhere for used gear that I can refret, rewire, repaint, whatever it takes to make it a real shredder. This is Trash to Thrash. The history of metal guitars wouldn't be the same without Jackson guitars. They've changed the guitar game so many times with their distinct and unique body shapes. I've built and owned so many of them. On this show I've rebuilt Dinkies and Rhodes many times, but there's a few other models that are just as cool and are equally edgy. Today we'll be taking a look at the Kelly and the Roswell. We'll start with the Jackson Kelly. This is a 1993 Jackson Kelly Performer. It's made in Japan, and it's a solid playing guitar. To say that I'm a huge Metallica fan is a bit of an understatement. So of course I've always been a huge fan of the Explorers, but I've never owned a Jackson Kelly before. Jackson Kellys are based off the classic Explorer body shape, but with a more vicious twist. And after playing a few of them, they finally won me over. I mean, I'm still a huge fan of the Explorer body shape, but they're just kind of big and bulky, and a Jackson Kelly is more compact and comfortable to play, and they're just made to shred. Jackson was the first big company to take the standard guitars we had seen for decades and give them a modern twist. There's the Strat, then there's the Jackson Dinky shape, which is a Strat made to shred. They typically have 24 frets, no pick guard, humbucking pickups, a floating bridge, pointy headstocks. They have the same general shape, but when it comes down to the guitar itself, they're completely different. Then there's the Rhodes, which is the same concept. They took the classic 50s Flying V and changed it. Well, they changed it a lot. Well, that's what a Jackson Kelly is too. It's a modernized, pointier Explorer. I've got some cool ideas for this one. It's got a lot of potential. This guitar is pretty beat up, so it's going to need some body work. The bridge is all rusted out, and the pickups that came in these guitars are not very pleasant. But it does have 24 frets, and for being almost 30 years old, the neck's in excellent shape. As always, the first steps with a rebuild like this are to strip the parts off and fix the chips and dings. The sharp pointy edges on this guitar were in terrible condition. You don't always get a good sense of how the guitar is going to turn out looking at it after you've sanded through layers and added Bondo or filler onto the wood. The different layers and the colors kind of throw your eye off. So what I'll do is I'll do some work to the guitar, throw some primer on it, and then I'll determine if I need to do more work to it or not, or if it's ready for paint. It looks great now, so it's time to paint it. The last few Rhodes I did turned out so cool that I'm going to continue the trend and go with flat black with some splatter. And to me, the splatter turned out awesome on this thing. Inspired by the Stealth Frankenstrat I did, I went with the Stealth colors, flat black with gloss black accents. This guitar needed a matching headstock, so I did the flat black, then I reapplied the logo, and then I did splatter on top of that, which looks really cool in my opinion. For the pickups, I went with my favorite metal pickups, the EMG 81 and 60 set, and what just might be my favorite new finish for pickups, brushed black metal. Of course I used an Iron Age kill switch on this guitar, a black switch with no LED. On an all black guitar, the touch of color can add some dimension, but I wanted the all black stealth look, so I felt a kill switch with a colored LED would take away from that. A lot of people ask me about kill switches. I put them on almost every guitar I build and every guitar I play. Most people ask, what is a kill switch and how does it work? Well, I'll explain. A kill switch is a button. When you press it, your guitar is muted. When you release it, your guitar comes back to life. Pretty simple, really. The point of a kill switch is to add another fun gadget to your guitar. Some would say it's a gimmick, but to me, it's a tool. I love using the kill switch to create rhythms. Or as an alternative to the whammy bar. A lot of times when I'm ringing out a chord or a note at the end of a solo, instead of reaching for the whammy bar, I use the kill switch as a trick to make the ringing note sound more interesting. Some kill switches have LEDs in them, some don't. I always like to match the housing color of the kill switch to the guitar's hardware, and the LED to the guitar's paint color. There are a few different companies out there making kill switches for guitars, but my favorite is Iron Age Guitar. Their owner Alex is a great guy, and I've been working with him for a few years. He makes excellent products and has great customer service. Another great company is Tessie, who makes different style kill switches too, like this arcade button kill switch I used on my purple Frankenstrat. The only drawback to using an LED kill switch is that it's going to require a 9-volt battery. If you're using active pickups, your guitar already has a battery and you could tap into the existing battery, so it's really not a drawback in that case. There's also a trick to wire up the kill switch so it automatically turns off the LED when you unplug the guitar. Alright, are you guys ready for the Stealth Jackson Kelly black on black splatter? Well, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments what you think of this thing. I personally think it looks awesome. It exceeded my expectations of how I was hoping this finish was going to turn out. All the options and features I picked just completely worked together on this one. And once again, the Stealth looks just so awesome. I love it. With this Stealth model, I went with black hardware instead of the gold. A lot of people said that they thought the black would look better, and maybe they're right. I trashed the old Floyd Rose. The original one was just far too gone and completely rusted out. And I had a bunch of these Jackson ones sitting around, so I took one apart, oiled it up, and got it rocking. The brushed black EMG pickups are just out of this world. I love them. Maybe my new favorite finish for EMG pickups. Most Kellys only have a master volume and a pickup selector switch, but of course I added an Iron Age kill switch in Stealth Black. I replaced the knob and the 3-way selector switch with a black 3-way switch. Now the controls look super fresh. This guitar is the perfect example of why I'm doing this show. I mean, look at what it looked like before, and now look at it after. This is the exact reason I wanted to do this show, is to build guitars like this. Guitars that I want to keep. Guitars that I would definitely play. And this one is definitely right up my alley. I love the way this thing turned out, and it's made me a true believer in Jackson Kellys. I'll definitely be building more of these in the future. And I'll definitely stop saying definitely so much. If you guys are interested in purchasing this guitar or any of the other ones you see me building on this show, then check the link down in the description for a link to my website. This guitar, like all my premium builds, come with a hand-built custom guitar case too. They're made out of 1/4-inch plywood and even painted to match the guitar. They have color-matched hinges, metal corners, rubber feet, nice latches, a nice handle, and even a storage compartment. The inside's lined with black velvet. There's of course neck support and padding on top to keep the guitar floating in the case. I put a ton of time into making each one of these perfect for the guitar that it's going to be sold with. I hand cut the foam and traced it to the exact guitar that's going to be going in the case. The result is a perfect snug fit, and it won't let the guitar slide around or hit the sides. Earlier in this episode, I showed you a really cool guitar that I was going to show you guys later. Well, the time has come. This is an original Jackson Roswell. This photo's from the Music Zoo, who recently had one in stock. They were only made for a short time in the mid-90s, but they had a huge impact on me because it was right when I started playing guitar. I remember the first time I ever saw a Jackson Roswell. It was in the mid-90s. I was just a little kid, and it was in the Jackson catalog. Every Saturday morning, when I was 11 or 12 years old, my routine would be to wake up around 7, play guitar for about an hour, and then search the couch cushions for loose change. I'd be out of the house by 8 a.m., jump on my skateboard, and I'd cruise down the street to my local guitar shop. They didn't open until about 9 a.m., so I'd have about an hour to kill, and I'd head to the donut shop. I'd get myself a donut and a soda, and then I'd go next door to the pet shop, look at the tarantulas and the lizards, check out the tropical fish, and by that time, it was almost 9 o'clock, so I'd head back out front, and I'd be waiting in front of the guitar shop before the employees even got there. I'd be out there at 8:55. Right when they got there and unlocked the doors, I'd run in, check out what new guitars they got that week, look at all the Jacksons, the Dinkies, the Kellys, all these cool guitars. And then at some point in the day, I'd find my way over to the magazine rack. I'd read all the guitar magazines, and on the bottom shelf of the rack was the product catalogs for that year. And then I'd start going through the product catalogs. I'd stare at every guitar and just drool over them and wish I could have all these cool guitars. At some point, I'd make my way to the back page of the product catalog, and I remember there was the custom order form there. So it gave you all the different options of the neck, the fretboard, the body shape, custom paint, and I would sit there and just imagine what my signature guitar would look like if I could make one. I was basically designing custom guitars at 11 years old. I remember turning the page and seeing the Jackson Roswell on one of those pages, and to me that was just the holy grail. I'd never seen one in person, so at some point in my life I knew I had to get my hands on one. A few years ago I bought this Jackson Roswell replica off eBay. It's just a body, unfinished, routed for a single humbucker and a Floyd Rose. It's perfect for the kind of guitars I like to build. When I look at this guitar body, so many ideas come flying into my head, and I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to go with yet. But I am sure about one thing. This thing needs a kill switch. Of course, right? So I used my drill press and a 5/8" Forstner drill bit. And then it's into the paint booth we go. I told you guys I have a few different concepts in my head for this guitar, one of them being all metallic silver with chrome hardware. The second idea is to go flat black with it, and then throw in either chrome hardware or brushed black EMGs. I mean, either of these would look so awesome. The third option was a little crazier, and that's the first one I tried. I threw down a base coat of black, and then I put this purple glitter on it. I feel like all three of these would be very spacey, very sci-fi. I mean, just the shape and the name and the theme of this guitar, it's got to have some type of space alien feel. What do you guys think? I mean, this color does look awesome. The way the light reflects off this looks so cool, and it would look great with chrome or black nickel hardware. Then we have flat black, which, I mean, on this body style looks so clean. I want to know what you guys think, so leave a comment down below and let me know what finish you think would look the best on this Roswell. I have a handful of customer guitars to work on over the next couple weeks, so I'm going to have to put this one on hold anyways. If you guys saw last week's episode, then you definitely saw this guitar, the teal and purple Tiger Rhodes. Let me catch you up with what's going on with this guitar next. Alright, I just finished shooting the clear here on the teal and purple Rhodes, and the clear came out amazing. I tried a new product called Spray Max 2K, which is actually two different chemicals in one can. You shake it up, mix it like regular spray paint, but then there's a button on the bottom that pops open a second can that's in there and mixes the two chemicals together. So it's basically like shooting what you'd get from a compressor and a gun, but you get it out of a spray can instead. And it came out great. The clear looks awesome, the best I've ever seen from an aircell can. But I'm not really feeling this guitar anymore. Over the last couple weeks, I've had a ton of people asking me about the Alien Blood Rhodes and the white Rhodes with the red splatter that I did. And, you know, I'm thinking I might strip this paint job off and do something more along those lines. I mean, this thing does look pretty cool and all, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling it anymore, and I kind of want to know what you guys think. Leave me a comment down in the description below. Tell me, do you think I should strip this down, do another crazy splatter or a crackle or something different on this? Or should I put this out, finish it up, and put it up for sale like this? For now, this one's on hold. I'm going to hang it back up in my paint cabinet, and we'll get back to it in a couple weeks. Alright guys, well this is another episode ending with me having a lot to think about with these guitars. I'm really debating about the finish of the Roswell. I'm not exactly sure about this Tiger Rhodes, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think about those two guitars. We'll get back to these guitars that I was working on here, but next week we're going to switch it up a bit and talk about Japanese guitars. I've got a bunch of customer guitars that have been coming in lately for me to rebuild and refinish, and we're going to start focusing on those since customers always get top priority over my custom builds. If you want me to rebuild your guitar or repaint it or modify it, let me know by sending me an email, mark@guitarguts.com, or a DM on Instagram @guitarguts. My contact information is also down below in the description. You could also check out my guitars that I have currently for sale at guitarguts.com. There's a link right at the top of the page for the guitars. It's right next to a gallery that shows you all the guitars that I've already done too. So if you're looking for some type of inspiration for a future project, check that out and check out some of the coolest guitars that I've built. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified every Thursday when new episodes of Trash to Thrash come out. Follow me on Instagram @guitarguts. Be sure to hit the like button on this video and leave me a comment about those guitars. If you're looking for more cool guitar content, then check out my other show on this same channel, Sunday Morning Shred, where I talk about all things guitars. I show guitars from my personal collection, do Q&As, talk about behind the scenes of Trash to Thrash, and I interview different musicians, guitarists, people who build guitars, and other friends I've met through social media. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.